All right, hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. Today I'm joined once again by Tucker, and we are talking about the not the Nindy, the Indie World presentation that just happened. By the way, a little bit annoyed we dropped the Nindy branding. I thought that was kind of cute, but you know what? It doesn't matter because Indies are fantastic regardless of what name you put them under, and we just got this big old 23-minute and 56-second direct with a shit ton of games in it. So Tucker, overall, how are you feeling? Let's start. Let's get into it.
Let's start with my initial impressions when they
No,
announced
see,
this.
that was a trick. I tricked you. We're not starting
It's
with the
because
initial predictions.
they said Indie World, and I'm like, no, it should be Nindies. But I'm thinking, I remember vaguely that they also called it something else at one point. And Nintendo, suck it up and come up with one brand. Jesus Christ. Okay.
See, here's the thing. I tricked you. We're not starting with your initial impressions. We're starting with the negative. We're getting the negative out of the way because you texted me, and you sent me a text, and I want to read this verbatim to the audience. You said, also, we will not spend more than a minute on a game that is all in capitals, not in the direct. And of course, this is in reference to the text I sent you that just says, blah, 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 where's Untitled Goose Game? Of course, my biggest disappointment with this direct was the fact that Untitled Goose Game, frankly, one of my most anticipated games of the year, period, AAA, indie, whatever. Not shown again. And House also has not tweeted anything today. They've not tweeted in a while. I'm just hoping that development's going smoothly and there's been no trouble behind the scenes because, frankly, the game has been silent for what I feel is too long. So I'm wishing the developers the best. I'm very excited for the game. Take all the time you need. But I would just like to know that things, are still on track because they've gone a little too quiet for my liking. But there's my piece. Under a minute.
All right.
Yeah.
My response to that is, I think that the way you responded right now was very level-headed, and honestly, I was not expecting such a calm and supportive reaction, because there's a lot of people online complaining about we didn't see. There's three big things that we didn't see that people were expecting. We didn't see Untitled Goose Game, which I think is the biggest one, but also Super Meat Boy Forever and Shovel Knight King of Cards. All three of those have been discussed, had release dates, moved around, gone silent. All three of them are kind of in a weird place right now. But when it comes, at least my opinion on indie game release cycles, is that there's not really any reason to be actually disappointed if they don't show information or have a negative reaction to it, because most of those games are made by teams of under 10 people, like max. So when it comes to a game like Bayonetta 3, for godforsaken reason, going silent and releasing Astral Chain before it, even though that was, whatever the fuck. But that is something you can complain about. When it comes to indie stuff, if they're not going to show it, they're going to show it when it's ready. And they're cleaning up things, and they're maybe having some problems, might be finding new platforms, whatever. I like to focus on what we saw and rather not, think about what we didn't see, because there's games that I would have wanted to see. Where the hell is the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? That's one of my most anticipated games of this year. We haven't heard jack shit about it since the fucking Game Awards last year. And I checked their website for the Ultra Deluxe thing every 2 months and still nothing. Whatever. Let's just get into what the first thing that happened was in the Indie World Showcase, which is a strange new animated trailer that I thought was Runbow or some sort of weird thing at first. I thought it was a game, and then it was just an Indie World intro. I don't know. What did you think of that?
I thought it was really cool, actually. I like that.
I don't like the logo for Indie World, to be honest. It's very bland.
It's bland, but I think it's fine. I like the light bulb in it. It's whatever, in my opinion. I just like that indies are getting more of a flair to them on Switch, because, we went for a while with it just being Nindies or anything, and it was just very bare bones. I like how the presentation has gotten to at this point. I thought the intro is fun. I thought that the people talking over it were a little bit cringy, but they did their job well. I like the presentation this time around, so I was okay with it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's anything special.
Definitely the best indie presentation we've gotten in the Switch cycle. The live action person, the two of them, same people, I guess, coming out and talking about stuff, usually would go on for a little too long. And I was actually very pleasantly surprised. They had their puns or their little jokes, quips, whatever, kind of cringy. I didn't really bother me too much. I've seen people complaining, but I thought that it was really well paced. It always felt like it was just like a few seconds after, they would show the release date, say a word or two, and then bop right over to the next thing. And honestly, I think I prefer this format to the sort of see what's coming up next Nintendo Direct approach, which they started like, 2 years ago. But I think that not knowing what's coming next is a little more exciting and keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I think
overall,
it
this
could,
is a very well paced presentation.
I agree that it was pretty well paced. I think they could tighten it up a little bit more because a lot of those trailers that clearly the devs sent into Nintendo had release dates in them, but then we'd always go back to that white splash screen with the logo to say the release date again. There's a couple times where literally they said the exact date in the cinematic trailer from the developer, and then the Nintendo guy came on to say the exact date again. So it could still be tightened up a little bit more, but like you said, it's straight to the point, it's straight to the games, and I think that is perfect for this kind of format. So I was enthused, I was never bored, so I think it works. It's nothing special, but it works.
All right. So I think we forego any sort of discussion of, overall games, and we just go for it one by one
Yeah, sure.
in order. All right. Let's see. What was first?
Risk
Risk
of
of Rain 2.
Yes. This
So,
was my
I'm
game
ta-
of the show.
I take it that you've played this game before, or you played the predecessor? Or?
I have not played this before because I think it's been only on PC and I think Xbox. But what's exciting about Risk of Rain 2, and I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't talk more about it in the direct and just the cinematic, it's a third-person roguelite, which is super unique for the genre, and people have been absolutely loving it. A lot of my coworkers at Gaming Trend, back when I was writing for them, were digging this game so much. I love its art style, I love its world, and the gameplay looks really fun and really fluid, and it's just, at a certain point, I think that the roguelite genre has gotten a little bit homogenized, a little bit boring, but putting it in third person in these actual environments is really, really cool, so I cannot wait for it.
All right. So two things. First off, I have not played either of the games. My friends were really into the first one. I think they play a lot of the second one. So I'm interested to try it. Seems to be co-op. You and I can play together.
Yeah.
But second, I can't remember for the life of me what the gameplay of Risk Rain is like. And it was entirely cinematic. It's pretty disappointing they didn't show any gameplay. How it looks on Switch, whatever. Because I've never really paid attention to it.
Yeah.
But also, third, this is a tangent, and tangents are our favorite thing on this here YouTube channel.
I fucking love them.
What the hell are you talking about being unique on a third-person roguelike? I can't even think of any first-person roguelikes.
I meant third-person perspective. It's not a side scroller.
But like, what about like Binding of Isaac or?
Essentially, I'll just go ahead and
things like that.
this is third-person over-the-shoulder camera. Essentially, it looks a lot like Breath of the Wild in terms of the scope of its world and its characters. It's very much a third-person action game, whereas I feel like, the mainstays of the genre, we're talking, Dead Cells, Rogue Legacy, a lot of those great games are all side-scrollers, and even Binding of Isaac is top-down, but still restricted. You don't have camera control, you're very much stuck on a plane. By putting this game in true third-person, I think it gives a lot of scope and a lot of, I think, attention to presentation and world building, which is something that I don't think you get in a lot of these games. I think, Dead Cells has an awesome world, but you can't really explore in the same way you can in third person as you can in a side-scrolling game. So I'm really excited about being able to walk into these worlds. And with games like games like No Man's Sky, I think really proved to me how good procedurally generated worlds can be in true 3D. So I'm just super excited to play this.
All right. So, yeah, that seems like that. Let's see, when is that coming out? Summer this year. What the fuck?
I said that out loud, too.
Summer's almost over.
Yeah, it literally has to come out, like, in the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
We're halfway through August.
Right. That's exciting, but kind
halfway.
of surprising and a little bit worrying that there's not a legitimate release date. Like, they should be like...
be delayed.
Yeah, I think so. Because you can't just say summer on the 19th of August. Oh, boy. Okay. By the way, that is the easily the most excited you're going to see me during this discussion.
Okay, then I guess it's going downhill. So let's move on to another game. The next game from good old Chucklefish, producers of Stardew Valley. I think I might have seen this one before. They're doing a lot of stuff right now. So, good God, this is the perfect pixel art style and color scheme and animations, and holy shit, it looks so good.
Yes.
Eastward. I could not tell you what it's just an adventure game. Kind of looks like pixelated 2D Last of Us, I guess.
It reminded me a lot of Earthbound, actually, in terms of its world and its characters. I got big vibes of Earthbound, but the combat reminded me, we saw it very briefly. It seems to be Stardew Valley-esque in the sense that the combat's not very deep. It's kind of, just button mashy, but again, we didn't see much of it. But I was getting big Earthbound vibes off of the overall aesthetic of the game. Not from the gameplay, though.
So I think, for me, Earthbound meets Last of Us is a very intriguing concept. I'm enamored with the art style. I think this is my favorite art style from the Direct, at least for new games I hadn't seen before. And yeah, I'm surprisingly excited for this, especially because I hadn't heard of it before.
Yeah, Here's the thing about it. Chucklefish is a little indie publisher that's really good at picking out great games. Like, they've got an eye for quality. Both, Stardew Valley and Wargroove are huge, and they picked up both of those. So I've got no doubt Eastward's going to be a great game, but I need to see more about it personally. I was drawn to the world, but not really anything past that. Again, I'm just going to need to see more of it. But it looked well made, and I trust Chucklefish's judgment when it comes to these things. So cool.
Yeah.
It gets my seal of approval, but I don't know if I'll play it. At least not based on what I've seen.
Yeah, that's one of those games. It's coming in 2020, so you have enough time to, see more trailers, learn more gameplay information, things like that. We'll probably see it in another, indie compilation, like Scissor Reel, the next thing, whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. The world, very, very detailed. I'm sorry. Like I said, I really, really love the color scheme and all that. So
yeah.
All right, moving on to Freedom Finger. I was watching this morning. I'm not really huge into shmups. I've played like one or two, not really my biggest thing. I thought this was an Adult Swim game or something. I'd heard of it before, but I couldn't really remember. But now rewatching the trailer, I'm realizing what the gameplay gimmick is. And although I probably won't play the game, I do think it's a really cool concept for, something to change up the shmup genre.
I don't care at all about this game. I don't have much to add here.
Well, the idea is that you're a hand, you
Yeah.
fly around, you pick up your enemies and use their weapons to shoot. Like, you can change up your shooting patterns by just grabbing the enemy's weapon from them. So I think that's pretty interesting. Seems like it has a really great music cast and voice acting cast, which is fucking weird. But you know what? I hope this game comes out and is good. Probably not my thing. I'm not going to pick it up, but guess we'll find out.
Yep. Not much more to add there.
Coming fall 2019. Okay, this is the first time I thought about it, but there's like these weird little hand-drawn things in between trailers where the two people sort of talk a little bit. I think those are god-awful. I'm not sure why they added them. It's like this little notebook before the next one.
They are totally passable graphics. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, good enough.
Yeah. Whatever. It's like, I don't know, what's a fucking pop chart or something.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. One of my best first impressions for a game, Roki. I don't know if she pronounced it, and I'm really into the sort of really smooth graphics, mystery, adventure sort of thing. You got Rhyme, you got Edith Finch, you've got Firewatch, Abzu, all of those games. One of my biggest favorite genres, at least for smaller titles that only take a few hours to complete. So we know exactly zero about this game, except for it has a cool fucking art style, and it's got a cool name.
I agree with everything you just said. I mean, we share that in common quite a bit. I also love Journey. Gris was actually my game of the year last year. Abzu, all these games are phenomenal. And I loved how this one looked. Like you said, we don't know much about it, but it just has a great atmosphere. And you reminded me
Coming this
actually.
year?
Yeah, you reminded me. I need to put Firewatch on my Switch wish list because I haven't played it yet.
That is a fantastic game. I have the only limited run I've ever bought was the Firewatch limited run for PS4. Comes with a map of the Shoshone Forest and I think a little compass and it's just kind of a fun, a Firewatchy thing. But yeah, that is a fantastic game. Anyone listening to this, if you are listening, check out Firewatch.
I just added
All
it to
right.
my wish list, but I will not be buying it today because we're going to get a little bit deeper into this discussion when we talk about the game I'm going to be buying instead. But what was
All
next?
right, next up, Torchlight 2.
I was surprised to see this in the direct. This is a big deal,
Two things.
actually.
Is it okay? So two things. Somehow, some godforsaken reason, I have this game on Steam. I don't know why. Never launched it. I think I got it as a gift or through some weird bundle or something like that. I don't know what Torchlight is. I don't know if I care. I didn't realize it was such a big thing. And cool trailer, but no gameplay, which is stupid.
Yeah, Torchlight essentially is comparable to Diablo. It's pretty big for people who like those sorts of games. It's a pretty big deal. I don't know if it's been on console before. Actually, it might be on PS4. Come to think of it,
I'll look at that.
but it's definitely big in the PC space. I'm not a huge fan of this sort of game. Diablo 3 was my first entry into these sort of titles, and I liked it. But it just that kind of loot grind and that kind of gameplay and those cooldown things are just not my style. But to see that this game is coming to Switch and that Panic Button is doing the port, if you know,
Yeah, I just saw that.
it's really cool. So it's a great game to have on Switch. This is a type of game that fits very nicely on the platform, but I just don't really care that much personally.
Yeah, exact same situation for me. I just looked it up. It is on goddamn everything.
Okay.
So not unique, but
Yeah.
Oh, well, there was gameplay. I'm sorry. The two little cartoony guys are sort of playing game. All right, never mind. But so I rescind that statement. All right. Yeah, cool. When's this coming out?
I think
September
really
3rd. Oh, that's really soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. Oh, sorry. You would say?
Well, I was just gonna say that I'm surprised. What's interesting to me about these directs, especially the last one and this one, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about this with the last game. Nintendo has been really surprising me with what they've deemed worthy of being in one of these smaller showcases and what's deemed worthy to be in the indie section of a regular direct. This, to me, did feel like something that should be in a regular direct, and of course, the last game, which we're going to talk about, again, felt like something to be in a regular direct. But I just think that things like Torchlight and the last game make these showcases really worth watching because you never know what you're going to get. So I just thought that was neat and worth pointing out.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I think is kind of strange, I guess Risk of Rain is obviously a bigger deal than I was realizing, but I did think it was kind of weird that Superhot's coming up in this, and I feel like the three biggest obvious ports are Spooky Last Game,
Yes.
Hotline Miami Collection, and Superhot. I think that's pretty unanimously agreed. It's interesting that they didn't choose to start it off with Superhot or Hotline Miami. Those were kind of just randomly in the middle. I really liked the last indie presentation where, right out with a weird-ass Cuphead trailer. I love that trailer so much. The guy talking about breakfast. And then ending with Cadence of Hyrule. That was a really solid presentation. I've rewatched that recently. There's a lot of stuff in there that I'm looking back on that I'm actually pretty interested in. Yeah, so that doesn't really change much. But let's go to the next one.
I actually, to that last point real quick, because we're never going to get to fuck Skater XL. We're never getting to it. Here's the thing about that. I actually think this is well paced too, because for as big of games as Hotline Miami and Superhot are in the indie scene, Risk of Rain 2 in particular is far more important right now. Like, that game just launched, I think, a couple months ago on Steam. I think it was early this summer or in the spring. I can't remember exactly. So actually, like, I think that your unfamiliarity with it is kind of taking away its importance. Like, that, I think, is one of the bigger indie announcements we've gotten on the platform, period, in the years that it's been out. So I think that actually this was paced pretty well. I think putting Superhot and Hotline Miami where they did was a little bit strange, especially considering that the Hotline Miami trailer was a little underwhelming, as we'll get to, in my opinion. But I think that it was paced fine enough. But, it is what it is.
Not really a complaint on my side, actually.
It wasn't, a guy drinking milk in black and white, but
yeah,
pretty cool game.
Too bad, but
yes.
One thing I just had a question about, and you know what? We're going on another tangent. You
go for
said sort of indie sections in other directs.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned to me on Twitter. I genuinely do not remember there being an indie section in any Nintendo Directs recently, or like in the last few years. What do you remember when that was, or
I'm trying to rack my brain. We
what was
definitely
shown?
Okay, so here's what I we definitely in the September 2018 direct we definitely got indie games. I'm trying to remember in the February direct of this year if we got indie stuff. We definitely did we get it during E3? The point is we have during the Switch era gotten indie games in regular directs. Like Hollow Knight was the big surprise drop of the 2018
Yeah,
E3 direct.
20, yeah.
And we got stuff in 2017 for sure. I'm trying to remember actually if E3 this year we got indie stuff. I'm blanking currently, but the fact they do tend to feature games in there. It's usually more in a sizzle reel capacity. It happened a ton during the Wii U and 3DS era, and it's happened during the Switch era, but it's been less prevalent because these showcases have been way more frequent than they have been in the past. Like we're averaging a couple of these a year, which is really nice. And I think this is a much better place for them because, frankly, I can't remember if there were indie games in the February direct because we got Zelda and we got Mario Maker, and those things are just going to overshadow these games. Frankly, regardless of how good they look, indie games are phenomenal, but they're not going to stand up in the headlines against a new top-down Zelda and a new Mario Maker. So I think this is better anyway.
That's for sure. All right, do we do it? Do we dare move on to Skater XL?
I almost want to skip it.
I'm looking at it. Looks god awful graphic wise. Could be cool for people who like skateboarding. Yeah.
There was a Tony Hawk game on the Wii, and the cover art I can see very clearly in my mind. It was a black and white like street, and I think the character might have been silhouetted. It was I want to say it might have been Tony Hawk's Underground or Thug or something. But it was kind of neat. That's the only skating game I've ever played. I don't skate in real life. I've got some skater friends, but not myself. So I just do not care at all. Literally 0% of me.
The only experience I have with anything skate related is that I own. No, I don't even know if I own it anymore. I used to own a some random Tony Hawk game on the Wii that required a skateboard peripheral that I did not own, and I got it for 99 cents at GameStop. And I don't know why I bought it. I thought it was a joke thing. I don't have it anymore. I guess I don't. All right. Well, what's after this?
Europa.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
I thought this game looked very pleasing. I'm very interested in it.
It looks I really like the lighting is probably the best part of this. I like the world design's fine. It's kind of got that, Unreal Engine-esque like things are placed in the world, but I like the idea of the gravity mechanics, designing your own character. Like, it looks like if it gets good reviews, it could be fun, but mostly just the visual style that I'm pleased by.
Yeah, I like a good 3D adventure platformer game, so I think this looks neat. My biggest concern is whether or not the gameplay is more substantive than just walking around and flipping switches and such.
That's true.
That was my biggest concern. So I'm holding out judgment, but if it's good, I would be down to play because I thought it looked very clever and cute, but I just need to see more.
Yeah. All right. Comes out this winter.
Super.
Next up, Super Hot. Super Hot.
I'm home alone, so before we started recording, I was walking around my home saying "super hot" like that because it's really fun to say.
Yeah. So I was watching this trailer, and I set my alarm. It was the first thing I did this morning was watch this trailer or this indie direct. I was concerned. The whole time, just the sounds of bullets and glass, whatever. They didn't say super hot until the very last possible second of this trailer, and I was like, "Oh no, they're not going to do it! Oh God!"
They're keeping you on the hook.
That is one thing about this game. That is the thing, is that the guy says super hot.
Here's my opinion on Super Hot. I have never played. Super Hot is one of those games, and this is no offense towards Super Hot because I think this is probably a much better game than Yooka-Laylee, but it's one of those games that on various consoles has been in and out of my wish list since it's come out. I've almost bought it on PS4 like a bajillion times. It looks fun, it looks clever, but I just don't know if it's there for me, One thing that's really cool about the game on PS4 is his PSVR support, so you can play it in VR. And there was a leak a while ago, I think it was before this E3, that there's going to be Labo VR support for Superhot. And if that happened, I would have bought that in a goddamn heartbeat. It's not there. So considering, by the way, I'm on the eShop right now, the game is $25, which I think is more expensive than the other versions.
Yeah,
I'm going to be holding out.
I don't think that's true. But
I'm pretty sure it's 20 on
I
PS4.
agree.
I'm going to check.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I want the game. I played it years ago, like before high school. I played it when it was a browser game on my friend's fucking tiny ass Mac laptop. Just watched him play it.
Oh boy.
Really cool game. Something I've always wanted to pick up. It's been on my Steam wish list since it came out. But I'm more of the $10 to $15 indie guy. So 25. If I get a 30 to 50% off sale, I'll definitely get it on Switch. Because I think the idea of the motion controls, the tilt controls in this sounds really fun. Especially I don't have VR, so that's the substitute. I definitely won't have VR when I'm in college. But
how would you feel about getting the game at 50% off at $12.49? You think that'd be a good price for you personally?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it's 50% off on PS4 right now, so I might honestly just buy it there today.
Price on a bicycle.
It's $12. It's $12.50 until the 20th of this month. Until tomorrow. Shit. Okay.
Well, considering I'm not bringing my PS4 to college.
Yeah.
I'm using my roommates. I probably won't be able to buy it unless I fucking text him right now and say I'll give you $12.50 in 2 days when I see you. But don't care enough. And honestly, I'll probably want to play it on a Switch when I do. So
the sale will come our way soon enough.
definitely a big announcement. I'm very happy this is there. Shadow Drop is amazing. I'm surprised this game wasn't out earlier on Switch, to be honest. But you know what? Having these kind of bigger announcements to keep these indie directs more, higher attention,
higher octane, more bombastic, lubricated.
Definitely cool. All right, next, Dungeon Defenders. I've heard the name before. I guess this is a remake or a sequel.
It was really unclear what it was because they said
they're like it's returning to its roots
in a brand new story, which is what was confusing. So I don't know, but these are good games. I like Dungeon Defenders too, so I will definitely play this when it comes out. They're really fun co-op.
Where have you played? I have heard the name before, but I genuinely don't know about it. Tell me your experience with
it seems like somewhat of a fever dream. I can't remember if I want to say I put it on mobile, but I think I put it on my laptop. Essentially, it's a 3D action tower defense game. So there's two phases. You have your building phase, and then of course, your fighting phase. So you're trying to defend this room. I forget what you're defending. I think it might be a treasure chest or a crystal or something. But essentially, you're in this room, and you kill enemies, and you get gold or points or whatever. And then you defeat a wave, and when the wave's over, you get a build phase where you can set up new traps and such, and you're just trying to survive as long as possible throughout different missions and such. So it's not a particularly new concept, but this franchise has been around for a long time. So it's kind of like a father figure in the tower defense genre. It was really big on YouTube for a while. I would say like early 2010s. So it's cool that it's coming back now. I will check it out for sure, especially if some of my friends want to play it. So
all right,
it was a neat game to be in there.
If it's fun, you know what? Why not? All right, when is this? February next year. That's kind of wacky. Also want to mention that I really do not like the graphical style. Looks like one of those cheap, as I said, your Unreal Engine looking ass kind of games.
Yeah, it's definitely a product of its time. This is not a franchise that's been around in a while. It's kind of weird that it's just coming back all of a sudden, but being console exclusive on Switch for a while is very cool. And again, another game that feels higher octane than what you typically expect in a direct like this. So that, again, a very cool moment. Even if it's a game that it's kind of being pulled out of the weeds a little bit from a couple of years ago, like 10 years ago, but still cool nonetheless.
All right, next up, one of the most interesting games coming up, in my opinion.
I agree.
The Tourist. This game is 3D Dot Game Heroes meets Octopath Traveler graphic wise, and I fucking love it.
It looks gorgeous. I hate voxels most of the time. I think voxels look really cheap and uninteresting, but the lighting engine here is so goddamn good. I love the kind
And
of
it's got some good
saturation and everything,
animations. There's that one shot with the plane crash on a deserted island.
Yes.
Really cool depth of field, rain splashed on the thing, the ocean lapping at the waves, trees waving. That is tight. That is some good shit. Here's the thing. Don't know what this game is. I guess it's going to be some sort of action RPG with dungeons and puzzles or something. There's towns, but there's also like ruins and there's islands and you're going everywhere. It could be this crazy ass world exploding adventure, but they did not. It was definitely a cool trailer to look at, but it was not very well. It was not very clear, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think this was a bad trailer because with the way they introed it, like a vacation away on your vacation, you know, or whatever, I thought that this was kind of like a life sim, you know? That's what I thought at first, and then all of a sudden we're going into like temples and dungeons and shit. So I don't know if this is like a Stardew Valley type of situation where like you're in a town kind of living your life, but there's also some of these more dungeon crawly aspects to it, or if it's a narrative game or like it's a dungeon. I just don't really get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Shin'en Multimedia is a great team. The Fast games are fucking awesome, especially Fast RMX. If you want an F-Zero game on Switch, yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. People kept recognizing that name. I've never played either of the other, those games. And then he boots up the thing, and that it's just F-Zero. Like,
it's even closer
blatantly.
to ripping off F-Zero than they already are.
But I think that's funny, and I don't mind that.
Yeah, and if Nintendo's not going to make F-Zero, let them do it because they do a really nice job. The Fast games are righteous. So if you want a game like that on Switch, definitely buy it.
righteous.
Tubular.
Right. Yeah. So I'm definitely interested to hear more about this game. It comes out in November. Definitely seems like a quick turnaround time for something so kind of out there. Like I'm gonna need more information about it.
I'm not that
Need to
surprised.
see reviews.
Yeah, I'm not that surprised actually that it's coming out so soon because Fast RMX is a launch title, and Fast RMX is essentially a deluxe port of Fast Racing Neo, which was a Wii U game which came out, I think, in 2016, might have been 2015. So they've been chipping away on this for a while behind the scenes. Because I don't think they've released anything on Switch since Fast RMX. But the point is, great team. I've got faith in them, even if that trailer, in my opinion, was not very good.
All right. Next up, Scale Boy.
We're coming into the double header of games that I did not dignify with my time.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I like the concept. I mean, I kind of like the graphical style. I'm a little bit mixed, but
I think it looks bad.
If people enjoy it, it's whatever. Not really. I'm definitely not gonna get it. But I like the logo with the big S and the skull. I like the little character. Honestly, I just wish it was a normal 2D game.
Yeah, it looks. I don't like the art style at all. They're like 2D and 3D, but the 2D things don't have any dimension or shadow, and the items just kind of clip together, and it doesn't look high quality. But you know what? If it's good,
That
it's
is
good.
incorrect. They do have shadow.
I don't care. I skipped the trailer. I got 5 seconds
okay.
in and I skipped the trailer. I apologize.
All right. So I was watching it live and did not have that luxury.
Yes.
All right. Next up, a game I had a conversation about, Earth Knight. I had a conversation about this game. I know how crazy it is. I want to hear your thoughts on this one.
Okay. So here's my thoughts on it. When this was going on live, I was in a trench. My hands were covered in PVC cement, and I was putting together a conduit line for a gentleman to run some electricity from his home to his shed. So I was doing some labor, if you will, and I was thinking to myself, man, when I get home and I get cleaned up and make myself a little chicken sandwich, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna see some really amazing games. And I did, and then we get to this game, Earth Knight, and I'm super interested in it because they explain it in this really curious way about dragons, and the trailer says like, man, I love this art style. And then the gameplay started, and I skipped the trailer. So it's an endless runner. What the fuck? It's just not my thing. They had me for a second, and then they lost me.
For me, I think that the gameplay, looks like there's a couple cool mechanics with like you have like this weird partner, you're like doing some skydiving through dragons in outer space, you're running on the dragons. Lots of really cool concepts here. I like the designs of some of the dragons. Like, there's a lot of a lot of cool aspects to it. The art style is hit or miss in itself.
Yes.
Like it's hand drawn sometimes, 3D models sometimes. It's whatever. Looks really wacky. I don't know. I'm probably not going to get it. Think it's cool, but not anything I'm crazy about. So
There we go.
coming in 2019. Okay. Next up, cookies? No, fuck you. It's Hotline Miami. But I'm.
This is awesome. I've never played Hotline. Okay, so I was like super hyped about Risk of Rain. This would be my second most anticipated thing out of the direct, because my friend Jackson, he was a big Vita guy back in the day, and he would always bring his Vita to school, and I would taunt him with the fact that the Vita didn't have very many games to be playing, so I'd be playing on my 3DS and be looking over at him, and he'd be playing Hotline Miami. And this was the one game that always tantalized me, because it looked so cool. I love its style, but I've never gotten to play Hotline Miami. Now Hotline Miami is on the Nintendo Switch. Hotline Miami 1 and 2 in one collection for $25, which is more than I wanted to pay, but I'm going to pay it anyway. And when we're done recording, I'm going to buy it and play it. So I'm very excited.
Drop?
Yes.
Yeah, this is one of the big ones. Since the Switch come out, I've sort of been keeping tabs on popular indie games, wondering if there's going to be announcements, things like that. Hotline Miami, Super Hot, all those things have kind of been up there for me. I've been waiting for their releases, and I'm very glad it's on there. I have Hotline Miami 1 on Steam. Probably played 5 hours of it. I don't know. I'm not really into the super fast-paced, brutal action kind of thing.
Yeah.
The reason I liked, or I got through more of my friend Pedro's, because you have that, dodge and slow down time, all that kind of stuff.
Great
that kind
game,
of
by the way.
balances out the game. Yeah, we can talk about that another day. But yeah, so I'm very glad this is on there. I'm not sure. I think the bundle might be cheaper than buying separately. I'm gonna look on Steam right now. I don't know how much the second one is.
While you're doing...
Hotline Miami. Oh no, together it is $25.
Yeah.
No, it's 30. Wait, huh? The Hotline Miami collection.
All right, well, you figure out how to add. I'm going to say this.
Costs $30 on Steam.
So let's say that you have played Hotline Miami, because these are kind of older games. Quick plug for one of my favorite games of the year, Ape Out, another Devolver Digital game. Similar ilk, but different style. It's a jazz-infused...
Love the art style for that game.
Yes, it's fucking awesome. It's a jazz-infused, top-down, kind of beat-em-up where he plays an ape. It's super stylized. I love that game to death. So if you have played Hotline Miami and you want something in that ilk, check out Ape Out for sure. I think there's actually a demo on Switch now. But that was just a quick plug while Tucker learns how to add. Did you figure out which is more expensive?
It seems to just be $5 more on Steam for some reason, but I think it might come with the soundtrack.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll pay the Switch tax if there's a Switch tax, because I like my system too much. I just planted a little kiss on my Joy-Con.
All right, creep. Okay, so, and then they're like, oh, it's the Indie World logo again. And now, Cracks Knuckles, now we get deep into some cool shit. All right, starting off, we're going to go through these a little quicker because they don't have enough time. But Blasphemous, this game looks fucking rad.
The animations in this game are really slick. I saw some of this on Twitter
the guy,
earlier.
The character, his head is a fucking nail.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like Castlevania, Hollow Knight.
A little bit of Dark Souls in there.
Yeah, it's like the Dark Souls of Dark Souls, all right.
I know what you're talking about.
Cool
one of
game.
One of my favorite tweets, by the way.
I
forget. I think it was who was it? I think it was Spinewave tweeted. Finally, the Dark Souls trilogy is on Switch, and it was the Dark Souls remastered icon next to the Crash Bandicoot icon next to the Cuphead icon. Just one of my favorite tweets. People need to shut up about games being the Dark Souls of other games. It's dumb. Just because you're bad at games doesn't mean you can label things as Dark Souls. Crash Bandicoot's not hard. It's just fucking poorly designed. Let's keep going.
All right. Blasphemous.
Yes.
Don't know if I said, September 26th. That's cool. If that game gets good reviews. Here's the thing. There's a lot of games that come out. We got, last year we got Dead Cells. We got The Messenger. This year we got Katana Zero. Now we got Blasphemous. All these games, kind of similar, hack and slash, really cool style. People give them really high reviews, things like that. I have not been able to play them.
There's too many indie games.
I've always wanted to. There's just a lot of them.
Yeah.
And those are the games that if I find them on a good enough sale and I've got 12 hours to kill, whatever, I definitely do want to check it out at one point. Now we got Close to the Sun. What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Fucking low FPS Bioshock looking Edith Finch fucking. I don't know.
I need
It
to
only
play
showed, like,
Bioshock.
4 seconds of. Yes, my friend. Yes, you do. Okay. That is a discussion for another day. Then we got Cat Quest 2. That's fine. I know people like Cat Quest. Don't care that much. Looks pretty good. I like the little character models and all that. We got Spiritfarer. This game I'm pretty interested in. Seems like some pretty cool stuff. You got your cat. You got a floating island and some shit. You're going through spirit worlds. Looks like it'd be fun. I can't remember the developer, but what is it? Thunder Lotus. Never mind. Don't recognize them. Like the art style a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely mildly interested in that. Or a little more than mildly. Trine 4. I've heard the name Trine before. Can't remember for the life of me.
Trine is one of those series where I'm pretty sure people like it and it's kind of popular, but I am just totally on the periphery of. Nothing about this seemed interesting to me. But, if you're a Trine fan, there you go.
I don't know if this is a port or if it's new. Also, this game is in like 480p. Are you looking at it right now on the video?
Yes, I am. It doesn't look 480p to me, but I'm recording on my laptop and I just have the direct open on my phone so I can be multitasking very easily. It looks
all right. So
not that impressive.
What I'm looking at is that it's like a painterly style, kind of cool, but there's like character icons on the top that look normal, and then it just looks blurry. It looks like it's through a fucking piece of cellophane or something like that. I'm not sure what's going on, but whatever. All right.
I want to take this
Creature in the Well.
Here.
You want to get... Okay, sorry. I see it.
Okay, Creature in the Well. Here's a video game that exists, and soon we're going to be able to play with our hands. This, outside of Cuphead and Cadence of Hyrule, was the game I was most pumped up about after the last Nindie Direct. I think this is such a cool idea, and I love the art style, I love the watercolor. It looks so good. Everything about it is so good. But now we're all familiar with the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. But I'm not sure if we're all familiar with the tragedy of the Creature in the Well release date. It's just coming out at a poor time. September 6th, very soon. That's exciting. But I'm gonna be in the midst of Astral Chain. Spyro comes out then. I'm gonna be at the start of college. So I just don't know if I'm gonna get to this guy right at release.
Yeah.
But it looks fantastic. I just wish its release was a little bit different. But as soon as I do have time, I'm going to be buying it for sure because this is a game that is speaking to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like Hyper Light Drifter meets
Kirby's Pinball Land. That's the game I'm thinking of.
Whatever the fuck that meets the coolest, grungiest art style on the fucking planet. Like, good God, this game. There's like a shot of him like running on like a yellow cliff, or there's like really cool color palette. Like, damn, that is some cool stuff.
We should just do a blood pact that we're going to record a discussion about this game, so I've got a reason to buy it.
Do we know the price?
I don't know.
You know what? Whatever the fuck. If we say we're going to do a recording on it, $20 for a video. Hey, you know what?
Let's both cut our palms open and ship a small plastic baggie of our blood to each other, and as a blood pact.
Okay.
Don't let the USPS find out.
I only have gallon bags. Is that okay?
I'll take as much as you want, but the more you put in, the harder it's going to be to get around USPS because they're not big on bodily fluids going through the mail.
That's true. Okay. Next up, we have a Flash game that I think I played on Miniclip when I was fucking 10. What the hell? I'm very confused about this game. Some freaky ninja anime lady shows up in the back and does not have the same art style.
Is it a rhythm game? It kind of looks like a rhythm game.
Rhythm beat 'em up with fucking super attack? I don't know. Whatever. Somebody's gonna like it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the attitude that the Chicken Shoot developers had on Switch, but nobody liked that.
Okay, next up we have Best Friend Forever. Looks like some sort of
a visual
RPG
novel,
dog store.
Play visual novels.
Yeah, visual novel RPG dog store simulator. Could be fun. I've played some games like reminds me of that fucking taxi game that's coming out soon, or like the one where you're like an Uber driver in the future or whatever.
It reminds me of the film Taxi Driver starring Robert De Niro.
No, it does not. And then also reminds me of Red Strings Club. where you
Ooh, I
manage
want
a
to play
bar.
that.
Yeah, pretty good game. I have not finished it, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Yeah, all right. Cool. Next up, we have something that. Here's the thing. When I think of indie games, I think of unique art style, unique concept, just fucking around. Usually multiplayer, some kind of wacky ass thing. And now we have Fogs.
That got my goose
And
for sure.
you're a couple of penis dogs, and you're wrapping around shit, and you're falling through space, and you know what? I'm into it.
I am
If it comes
too.
out, if it's cheap, if it's fun, if it's a crazy ass co-op thing, I'm definitely down. I have currently on my Switch preloaded, coming out in exactly 10 days, I believe. I have Heave Ho, which is a 1 to 4 player game where you are a ball with arms and you're flinging each other, and great art style. Devolver Digital. I'm very excited for that game. I don't know if I'm gonna have 4 friends in college to play it with when I get there, but you know what? It's on my Switch. I got it on sale, so whatever. This one that reminds me of.
Fogs also gives me some big Donut County vibes in terms
Yes,
of its
I was
world.
just going to say that.
And Donut
Like,
County, by the way, is a magnificent video game. So if you haven't played it, go play it. It's on Switch now. I played it on PS4. It's wonderful.
it's got that kind of wacky interacting with things like those toasters and the fucking
Yes.
corn that's popping, and like things are a little too big or like a little too weird color. You know, I like it. All right.
Yes.
Next up, we have my surprise. This is my surprise thing for the Direct. What the Golf? I've had this game on my fucking Steam wish list. It has been delayed for eons. It has the wackiest fucking concept where everything else is golf but the ball, and it has a amazing art style, and I'm just very excited to fuck around with this game, especially on Switch, because I'm not sure if it's available on Mac, which is the only computer I'm bringing to college.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with it. It looks cute. I don't know if I'll play it. Just not really my type of thing from a gameplay perspective. But I love weird concepts, and that's a very weird concept. So, very cool.
Next up, probably the most forgettable game of this thing, because I forgot it happened. What the fuck? You're like a storage unit ball? It's like
I don't even know what this is like. It's just
it's
weird.
like there's like the little board game where you have to like move cars around to get
I know
one out of the
exactly what
thing.
you're talking about. It's like Traffic
Yeah,
Jam
it's
or
like-
something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
It's
plastic
like
cards. You
that,
get the
but,
red
like,
one out. Yes.
You rotate the box, which is like something else. It's like those blocks you capture in Odyssey where you have to like tilt it. Whatever, don't give a shit. I'm not gonna play this.
I agree.
Next up, another game I probably won't play, but I love the concept of. Looks like an online, like a sort of multiplayer shooter where you are little green army men and action figures and stuff like that. I love the concept of toys coming to life and fucking around and doing shit. And I don't know. I will never play this game, but I'm glad it exists because it's like one of my weird fantasies of a G.I. Joe's walking on Hot Wheels tracks shooting fucking whatever.
Have you ever seen the film Small Soldiers?
No, but I have seen a little indie film you might have heard of called Toy Story.
Interesting.
Getting big Toy Story vibes from this.
You should.
I think they made a sequel to that one.
At minimum, watch the trailer for the film called Small Soldiers. This is a very deep cut, and I hope someone in the audience knows what Small Soldiers is.
All right, I'll check that out in a bit. All right, next up we have
I got like a
Northgard.
war flashback thinking about Small Soldiers right now.
We have Northgard next. I've heard this name before. No idea. I can't tell what the gameplay is,
It looks like a tower defense game
Defense?
to me.
but also kind of like Age of Empires sort of deal. Like then there's like a dragon, which reminds me of a MOBA. Can't really tell what's going on. All right, that's fine. Whatever.
Sparklight
that.
looks kind of neat. I like this art
Sparklight's
style.
got one of those nice pastel art, pixel art styles that kind of it's my jimmies all going up. I've got like Fez. You've got the sort of art style and floating
Moonlighter.
cities of Bastion. You got some cool character designs. Really, really visually pleasing. I like that. There's like an autumn level. There's some cool bosses. Torbjorn is in a wooden mech.
It looks like a Zelda game, kind of.
Yeah. if it's fun, if it gets good reviews, it'll go on the wish list. But you know, that's whatever. Oh, holy shit! There's a game after this that I never even noticed happened.
This is actually pretty cool.
What the fuck is this?
Do you know the card game Munchkin?
Nope.
Well, it's a real life kind of dungeon crawler board game, kind of like a role playing type of tabletop game. I've never played it, but people like it quite a bit, and I like how it's fusing the actual real life components with this kind of top down kind of dungeon crawler elements. So this is a fun idea for a video game. The best trading card video game, though, by the way, is and forever will be the Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy.
Yep, I was just about to say that exact same thing.
Wonderful video game.
I own it, and I have played exactly 30 minutes of it, and I could not give a shit because I love collecting Pokemon cards, but I goddamn hate the game.
That, especially I used to be really big into playing the game like physically in real life with my friends. The Game Boy game is hard to go and play. That's just not the sort of thing that was made for that interface. It's a fun game about menuing. If you want to practice in menuing, you should play that game.
You know what this reminds me of, and I will write this down right now. In fact, no, I will do one better. I will text this to you.
Okay.
So we both remember. We are going to have a discussion on Pokemon spin-offs in the future.
I would love to do that with you. My first Pokemon game was over a spin-off, actually.
I'm so sorry for your loss. I just texted Pokemon spin-off. It doesn't even... All right, and now... For the moment, you've all been.
Now I'm gonna pull in my chair because things are gonna get spicy.
Because literally the only thing everyone I'm following on Twitter this morning, and I don't know, I haven't checked because we've been on a fucking call for a while, but it's probably still going on. This is the only thing anyone's talking about today, is because this is the single greatest thing to happen since the Switch launched. And now, okay, I'm exaggerating for the point that I know Abram does not give as much of a shit, but I've been, of course, this is the great fantasy mystery game that we were so inclined to hide from you, dear listeners.
Recore.
Recore. Finally, Xbox is giving us one of their exclusives.
I'd rather have Recore on Switch than this.
One of the single greatest video games ever designed and put into my eyeballs.
Super Metroid?
Ori and the Blind Forest is now coming out on Nintendo Switch. Definitive Edition. I never played the Definitive Edition content. I've heard it makes the game, just that much better. It is essentially a perfect experience. There is nothing about this game that falters. You play through it. There's 3 incredibly well-made dungeons, some of the most fun power-ups I've ever gotten, a really great progression system, some really clever saving mechanics, one of the best art styles and soundtracks known to man, and fantastic controls, a beautiful story with great characters. It's goddamn. I've played this game 3 times now. I'm definitely playing it again when it comes out on Switch. Ori and the Blind Forest. Holy shit. I mean, okay, if this game had not been rumored the last, 3 days, something like that?
Yes.
I would have shit my pants. I'm very disappointed that it got leaked. But I was fun discussing it around online, the possibility that it was coming out. But it was basically confirmed. The amount it was talked about. The release date was leaked, all that. So it's whatever. That part. But this is one of the best video games of all time. And we'll delete this YouTube channel if Abram doesn't play it.
There's a little film director.
That is a threat. That is a threat on your personal safety.
This man's name is Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese
loves Ori and the Blind Forest.
He directs some phenomenal gangster films. Goodfellas and particularly Casino are very, very, very good pieces of cinema and very high watermarks for the crime and mob genre. However, I wouldn't consider specifically Casino to be that engaging by today's standards, because since he has popularized and really laid the foundation for the modern crime film, other directors have come in and iterated and done interesting things with the crime genre and the mob genre, which make their films stand out in a unique way from the baseline. So that's why when I talk about my favorite crime films, I'm talking about things by Nicholas Winding Refn. We're talking about all kinds of things, right? But I'm not usually talking about Scorsese's films because they are very good crime dramas. They're very good mob films. That's how I feel about Ori and the Blind Forest, because Ori and the Blind Forest, to me, looks like a Metroidvania with a nice art style, and it looks to be nothing more than that. And that's fine. That doesn't make it bad. That does not make it not special. Just like how Casino is not made a bad film by the fact that it's just very good at being exactly what it's trying to be. If Ori, from everything I've seen, ends up being just a very good Metroidvania, as people are saying, that's great. But I am not enough of a fan of the Metroidvania genre on its own for that to be a selling point to me. Frankly, watching this, I was bored by it. I thought it just didn't look that interesting. I thought it had a great soundtrack, but it did nothing for me. But again, it's because people have done things with the genre since this game has come out, and in its periphery, which do more interesting things with the genre I'm not that big of a fan of in the first place. What I'm saying here, essentially, is that this does not mean heads or tails to me, because if it's just a great Metroidvania, that's good for people who like Metroidvanias. Not necessarily for me. So I'm very excited that my voice just cracked, which defeats the entire weight of my point. I'm very excited for you to get Ori and the Blind Forest on Switch. However, I am not excited, nor do I plan on playing it. So unfortunately, folks, you might be listening to one of the last episodes of Backlog Banter right now.
That is an unfortunate point. Although we do have until September 27th.
That's great. All right.
Okay, well, that was a hearty discussion, which I believe there is no reason for me to refute your points or attempt even. Xbox Game Studios pumping out those classic exclusives that just bolster their relationship and the Switch's library. Very happy about that.
Yes, I should say that at least. I'm very happy that the game is on Switch, because this Microsoft-Nintendo partnership, I think, is wonderful. And I really hope that it expands more, and we get more things, hopefully Rare IP back, which seems actually very likely. But I'd also like to see it go the other way, frankly. I'd like to see the Xbox get some Nintendo stuff, whether that's, classic games or what have you. But I think this partnership is so valuable and so important that I might, just pick up Ori to give the devs my money, but not launch it. Ever. Never. Ever.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. One of us is smart and handsome and
the other's name is Tucker.
College. And the other one is Abram. So thank you very much for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoy Ori and the Blind Forest when you get it on your Switch, or I will eat your children. So
follow us on Twitter. Do that.
Yeah, do follow us on Twitter at Penguins with Capes and at Cirky. So
they'll be both linked in the description. Make sure you follow me and continue my lead above Tucker. He's got a lot of ground to make up, but I'm nervous that he's going to start making it up, because now he's posting more on Twitter, and I see him getting those followers. I can't have it. I know,
it's very scary.
It's very scary. We should make a Twitter account for this YouTube channel, by the way.
That is true. Holy shit.
Actually, I think we have one, don't we?
I think you made one, but you never ended up making the banner, so we never ended up using the account. Also, we are talking about this in the discussion, so
I like to be transparent with our audience.
Exactly. That's how open we are. Is that we don't even edit. We don't even think about what we're saying. We don't even censor ourselves. And
it's definitely not to make it easier on us. It's intended.
Yes, this is our brand.
We should end this.
That's true. I tried to multiple times.
Oh, well, I'm still going to blame it on you anyway.